So when I walked in, the first person I introduced myself to in this room also had the same name, which left me confused. I'm like, bro, are you just repeating? Are you rocking me? Like, I'm Desmond. He's like, no, I'm Desmond. I'm like, no, I'm Desmond. My name is spelled D-E-Z-M-U-N-D. I'm like, my name is spelled D-E-Z. I'm like, oh, okay. But you don't get that a lot. So when we see that, we say respect. I mean, we love our name so much. My son, he's 2.5 years old. His name is Desmond. I had to keep the legacy going. It's amazing. He's 2.5, and this kid, man, he's definitely smarter than I was. We were outside. I was talking to him and we were playing. He says, Dad, can I get a lollipop? And I'm like, well, maybe later. You know, when we go inside, maybe we'll get you a lollipop. He said, okay. So we're still playing, and then I go inside. All right, now let's go wash your hands. He says, no, Dad, you promised. I'm like, promise? Who taught you how to say it? Who taught you what that meant? I'm like, okay, well, let's go get this kid a lollipop. I did promise. He's holding me accountable already. For those who have kids, you know what I'm talking about. For those who want kids, just be ready. Right? But it's a beautiful thing. Guys, I am from Detroit, Michigan, which a lot of people don't know that. I traveled quite a bit, originally from Detroit, lived there most of my life. My background is mortgages. I've done loans for years. So I was a loan officer, help people get in houses, refinancing. A lot of people know what that industry is about. Yeah. And I relocated from Detroit to Atlanta. Stayed in Atlanta for about a year, Cincinnati for about a year. Then I relocated to Hawaii for 4 years. And all these places I did loans. So I was in Hawaii for 4 years, and then I relocated to LA. And we all know what happened in 2008, right? Yeah. Well, that's when I got here. Wow. The mortgage industry took a major dip, right? And it forced me to adapt to what I'm doing now, which is when I fell in love with debt settlement. And I'll tell you this, if I would have known the things that I know now, in regards to remember, we had people that were trying to buy houses that moved back now. But known all the other and listen, I've been part of the partnership with PHP, like she said, since the beginning, because I've been in this industry for 15 years. And some of you guys are like, dude, how old are you? I was moving. And the other half of the group are saying, how would you leave Hawaii? Both of these are some very long stories, especially from Hawaii. But we're going to go ahead and jump right into today's training. So the debt industry. Well, the first debt industry, let's talk about the debt crisis. I remember years ago, we were on I was watching a podcast actually with Patrick, and he said this is going to be the year of chaos, financial chaos as well. Right? We have Fortune 500 companies laying off across the country. We have record high inflation, record high interest rates. When I talk about companies laying off, let's go back to that. DoorDash laying off thousands of people. Right? We have the IRS. Thousands of people. That's true. Right? And then you have Indeed. You guys know Indeed, right? We're a company that helps people find jobs. I'm like, dude, that's cruel, but you're hiring. That is true. But that's beside the point. You have record high inflation, you have record high interest rates, and you have people that are being laid off, forced to get jobs that pay less than what they were getting paid before. What does that do? What does that do to our economy? What does that do to the average American? That forces them to find another way to manage to get by, to pay their bills, and they end up taking on loans they can't afford. Uncharacteristically maxing out credit cards, right, to make ends meet. And they end up in a situation where they don't know which way to turn and they don't know what options are available. And that's going to be a lot of the clients that you sit with on a daily basis. And today we're going to have some answers to that. Today we're going to talk about what you guys can do to show these clients the light at the end of the tunnel when they're dealing with their debt. Okay? So the debt industry, when I got in the industry, not too many people knew what debt settlement was. They thought the only way to get out of debt was bankruptcy. Everyone knows what bankruptcy is. Consumer credit counseling, which we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Or refinance your mortgage, like I said. But if you look at this, people are really starting to understand what debt settlement does. The people that take advantage of our services are the people that don't need it the most. They're people that just know that they have that. They don't want to keep paying money. They don't want to exhaust their savings, their retirement accounts. They want to find another way to resolve their debt while keeping their financial nest egg intact. So what do? They don't wait until they exhaust their savings. They don't wait until they fall behind on their payments. They take advantage of the program now. Because what better way to secure your wealth than to just get rid of it, negotiate it, settle it, and reinvest that money somewhere else. Yeah. That's a large percentage of our clients. Guys, no one knew what that sum was. Now this, if you look at this right here, the only time we had money saved, trillions of dollars saved, is when COVID happened. You guys know when COVID, you have to stay in the house, don't go anywhere, you can't spend money. The only place you can spend money is online, right? Sure. America saved a lot of money. But then when they lift those masks up, we ended up with this debt crisis. We're not trashed of it. And now we're in a situation right now. Guys, since our partnership, again, we've been partnered for over 12 years now. I've been lucky enough to be a part of that journey. I remember my first event was in Reno, Nevada. That was the big event. James Worthy was the keynote speaker. We set a record, a Guinness Book of World Record for the most people in a room playing checkers. I don't know if anybody was around for that, but that's what it was. But that was the first event. And back then, this was like right after the event where Patrick and David wore the Back to the Future costume. This is right after that event. So this is way back when. But that's how long our partnership goes. We've been able to enroll over $320 million of debt. Guys, $320 million. And now that number is going to continue to grow. We've resolved over $200 million of that debt, creating more than $4.5 million a month in cash flow that a lot of you guys have actually used to reallocate towards your service throughout the country. Let me talk about what that means. So money that was normally going towards credit card debt, high interest, you guys have used that money to reallocate towards retirement, towards investments, which means a family that was on the path of laying down generational debt, now they're passing on generational wealth. And that's a lot of the cost to you guys and the partnership. Clients' cash flow, links, that's going to be a very good topic as well. And I know some of you guys don't speak English. I got good news for you. We will have a Spanish training. We had our first one on Wednesday. It was a success. We had all of Puerto Rico plug in, and it was like 100 people involved in that one. At least once a month, we will have a Spanish training for all of our Spanish. Once a month, yes.
So cada mes, una vez al mes va a tener un entrenamiento en español en Zoom, on Zoom, right?
Yes, on Zoom. And there's going to be a slide that I'm going to show you guys where you can register for that training. So I kind of couldn't keep the secret. But we're going to get a slide that's going to explain all that stuff for you guys. All right? All right. Client benefits, if you can translate the story, this would be awesome. Client benefits, the one thing that I can talk about client benefits, and we are going to talk about all that stuff, it always leads to a story. So I remember a while back, we get a call from an agent. He's sitting with the client, elderly couple. John, he's in his mid-60s, retired military vet. His wife, Teresa, is a retired nurse. And he's sitting with them, and they can't afford life insurance. They're sitting there, they're paying on a lot of debt, and they can't afford life insurance. You can translate.
Que tomemos en ventaja de los beneficios, porque hay muchas historias donde las personas no pueden pagar un life insurance porque tienen mucho debt. Entonces, eso es beneficio para ustedes, y por eso, pues, qué bueno que lo van a tener todo en español también.
So he puts me on the line, he puts me on speaker as he's sitting with this family. They're telling him, we know we want life insurance, we need it, but we just can't afford it.
Ellos sabían que necesitaban la aseguranza y la importancia de la aseguranza, pero no podían pagar una aseguranza porque tenían muchas deudas.
The agent put me on speaker, and after a few questions, I realized that they were paying $2,200 on $75,000 of credit card debt.
Cuando la puso en la llamada, él se dio cuenta que estaban pagando, ¿cómo much a month?
$2,200 a month.
$2,200 al mes de puras deudas.
So after identifying that, I realized, okay, okay, we need to find a way to create savings with this family. So I says, listen, my job is to find a way to create savings. So give me a few minutes and we'll find a way to get this done.
El trabajo de él dijo, nada más dame unos minutos y yo te voy a enseñar cómo puedes pagar mucho menos de lo que tú debes y ayudarte a que lo puedas obtener.
So we presented options that were able to cut the client's payments in half. And you can tell that Teresa, she sounded very vibrant. You can tell she saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and then she felt like it was something that they wanted to do.
Ella se emocionó tanto que dijo, esto es algo que estaba buscando, esto es algo que puedo hacer, porque ellos le iban a cortar sus pagos hasta la mitad de lo que ella estaba dando.
However, John, and we all know people like John, he's a proud guy, military guy. He said, you know what, we made the debt on our own, we'll resolve the debt on our own. And he said they decided to go another way.
Nada más porque su esposo era un hombre que sirvió en el ejército, tenía mucho orgullo de decir, nosotros no lo gastamos, nosotros lo usamos, nosotros lo vamos a pagar y no agarraron el programa.
So the agent told me, okay, we'll keep in touch. If they change their mind, I will let you know. A few months later, I get a call from Teresa. Teresa calls me and says, Desmond, I don't know if you remember, but you spoke with me and my husband and the agent. We were looking to buy insurance, and you gave us some options about your debt situation or your debt program.
Cuando él colgó el teléfono, unos meses después, Teresa le llamó y le dijo, no sé si me recuerdas, pero yo estaba buscando comprar una aseguranza y podemos hablar de eso.
So I said, of course I remember you. Did you finally convince John to decide to move forward? And she got really quiet. She says, I'm sorry to say, but a few months ago, we lost John. And now we never get life insurance. It's because we never got the life insurance, the credit card debt has went up because I was forced to use the cards to pay for those funeral expenses.
So, después de eso, él le preguntó, Teresa, ¿ya convenciste a Jan para que puedan agarrar una aseguranza de vida? Ella por un momento lo pensó, pero dijo, es que él ya falleció y no pudimos agarrar la insurance por todas las deudas y ahora estoy más endeudada que antes.
Now, these kind of stories, we talk to a lot of clients, but no one's prepared to hear that when they're making a phone call. So obviously I was taken back. I was sorry to hear that. Let's see what we can do to reduce your payments. And guys, we still were able to get her payments reduced. Her debt went up to almost $100,000. We were still able to reduce her payments to half of what she was paying.
Aún así, cuando ella dijo que sus deudas se fueron hasta $100,000 por todos los gastos que tuvieron que pasar cuando se murió John, él dijo, no importa, aún te podemos ayudar a reducir esas deudas.
One of the things she said was that she feels that the stress of the debt is what took John away from them. And the last thing she wanted was to pass that debt on to her kids.
Porque lo que a ella más le importaba era de que las deudas no pasaran a sus hijos, porque para su creencia de ella, eso fue una de las ocasiones que le causó la muerte a Jan por el estrés de tanta deuda.
So once we were done with the consultation, she enrolled in the program, reconnected her with your previous agent that referred us. She got protected, she got rid of her debt, and was on the path to becoming debt-free.
La pudieron ayudar al final, reconectándola con la persona que la invitó y él, juntos la pudieron ayudar para que ya estuviera libre de deudas.
So that's our benefits sewed up in one story, right? However, let's talk about credit card debt as a whole. We all get credit card statements, right? We all see the statements. They give us the options, minimum payments, and it tells you on your statement, how many of us look at the statements first of all? Because a lot of us don't look at them because they go right to your email now. They go, they remember that thing they say, let's save the trees. Guess what? Out of sight, out of mind. And if you don't know that your balances aren't going down, if you don't know that your interest rates are going up, you're going to end up making those payments for a really long time.
La mayoría de las personas no les gusta checar los estados de sus cuentas porque no quieren saberlo, porque ya automáticamente te llegan a tu email. Solamente los ignoras porque no te quieres dar cuenta, pero es como cualquier vicio, ¿no? Pero no te das cuenta que el interés está subiendo, que antes te cobraban el 11% y ahora no sé cuántos de interés te cobran.
I'm sorry, sometimes I go really fast, I get really excited when I talk about this stuff, I'm passionate. So
You're fine, you're fine.
But that's, what we do typically is take our clients' debt that they're paying for a long periods of time. We show them a way to get it paid off in 2, 3, 4 years, shaving off a fraction of that debt cycle and saving them a lot of money on a monthly basis. So that's the real benefit.
Ese es el trabajo que ellos hacen. El trabajo que ellos se enfocan es de que te quiten los pagos que no puedes pagar, todas esas deudas, y te lo van a ayudar a que puedas, en paguitos que tú puedas pagar.
Let's look at this client. Her name is Jane. This is a client that we enrolled right during COVID.
Wow.
Right? She enrolled into the program.
Wow, perfect.
Well, look at it. I've seen a lot more. I've seen a lot more. I've seen people with pages of statements. And I asked, how do you keep track of this? They're on automatic payments, so they have no idea what they're actually paying.
Oh, wow.
Right? So they don't know. I mean, how can you pay these unless they're automatic?
Yeah.
There's a lot of clients like this. $42,000, $1,483. This is this client's reality. Right? This is what she's paying every month. $1,483 was her minimum payment. This agent referred her to us. He sat with her, did the FLS, realized she had this much debt, referred her to our team. Our team did a consultation and put a plan together to reduce her payments to $687. Wow. You see this cash flow? Let me tell you her story, right? You get focused on the numbers, but there's always a story behind the numbers. And
Hay siempre una historia atrás de cada número.
So Jane is a single mom, 2 kids. She's a nurse.
Ella es una nurse y tiene 2 hijos.
The reason she accumulated the debt is she's taking care of her mother who has dementia, and insurance only covers a portion of the medical expenses.
Su deuda de ella se fue así porque su mamá le dio demencia y la aseguranza solamente cubre una parte.
So $800. If you were able to create almost $800 savings for a client, right? She had kids. You reduced her payments to $687 to get rid of the debt. What kind of services would you recommend to her? With the savings. You don't have to use all of it, just some of it. What would you do?
¿Te imaginas cómo le podrías ayudar a ella con 2 hijos, solamente ahorrándole casi $800? ¿Qué plan le podrías dar a ella? ¿Cómo la ayudarías para proteger a su familia con $800?
Get her license.
I mean, always be recruiting, I get it. Always be recruiting, yeah, you're right, she recruitment's up. Yeah, but IUL, right?
Yeah.
Small aside, set up a retirement, some kind of investment for her kids for college, right? You got out of that, now guess what? 4 years, she's done with the program. Now guess what, she has $687 more monthly cash flow. She can sell her more insurance, right? She can invest more insurance for her kids. But think about her reality, what it was before and what it is now. Now, what if that agent had not connected us?
Sí, es lo que nosotros como agentes tenemos que ver cómo podemos ayudar al cliente, cómo podemos buscar una manera que lo puedan pagar. Imagínate todo lo que ella podía lograr con lo que se ahorra.
John, this is another guy. This guy he was a flight attendant. We enrolled him during COVID, right? Flight attendant, relocated from New York to Miami. I mean, I would make that trip any day. My job kind of relocate me from New York to Miami. Where
Yeah.
I'm there, right? That's what his story. 4 months after relocating, he gets laid off, right? Again, he's a flight attendant. Laid off, forced to find another job paying much less and live off the cards.
Wow.
Accumulated $50,000 of debt, paying at $1,184. You see these are the creditors, right? These are our common creditors we deal with. Capital One, Barclays, Capital One, is that what's in your wallet? Is that guy?
Yeah.
What's in your wallet? American Express, which one is that? Don't leave home without us, right?
Yeah.
The catchy tunes get us in debt, don't they? Capital One, Bank of America, but again, $1,184. So we were able to reduce the client's payment to $786, creating $400 of cash flow that was reinvested into your services. right?
Lo que están buscando la manera ellos es educarnos cómo nosotros haciéndole análisis a cada de nuestros clientes podemos encontrar la forma de ahorrarles ese dinero y decirles, vas a estar pagando lo mismo, pero ahora vas a estar ahorrando 398 a una póliza.
Out of debt, only paid $37,000. If hadn't been introduced to us after 10 years, $142,000, and it would still be in debt.
Wow.
That's the reality.
Lo
of these
mejor de
clients.
este programa es de que la reducción lo reducieron a 37,000. Si él hubiera seguido pagando, le hubiera pagado 137,000 y todavía seguían endeudados.
I say that to say this, we're gonna sit down with a lot of families, we're gonna see a lot of situations, we're gonna come across, when we do our budget and our FLS with the clients, one of the things that we have to ask is what kind of debt are you paying them? And not only that, do you have any plans to resolve your debt? Because by skipping that question and just going right into the insurance, even if they sign up, if that debt gets out of hand, guess what, they're gonna cancel that life insurance policy.
Yeah.
Broke people don't buy life insurance. Sometimes we have to create the savings, not just for them to afford it, but for them to secure it and continue to pay it,
Yeah.
right? So we can't leave any families behind. We have to ask the question. And if they say they gotta have debt, okay, how much are you paying on your debt, right? What is your plan to get rid of it? How soon do you see yourself paying all these credit cards off? If they
Yeah.
don't have an answer, we have a partner that specializes in debt relief. I'm gonna submit you for a free consultation to look at some options to become debt-free.
Wow.
That's it. A free consultation. That's all you're selling your clients. You're not telling them they're gonna cut your payments in half, they're gonna make it disappear. It's just as an added service, PHP, I'm gonna offer you, I'm gonna submit you for a free consultation to look at some options to reduce your payments and cut it.
Es muy importante que siempre que te sientes con un cliente le preguntes qué deudas tienes y cuáles de esos te necesitas que desaparecer y cómo lo vas a hacer, cómo vas a pagar esa deuda. Y siempre les des la opción de que hagan una consulta gratis. Tú no les tienes que explicar de qué se trata ni nada. Dices, parte de nuestro programa es ayudarte a